Welcome back to the What's My Body Telling Me podcast. If you've been feeling exhausted, disconnected, or like the mental and emotional load is quietly piling up, today's conversation might land deeply. I'm joined by the dynamic duo Hillary and Ber, the twins behind Twin Transmissions, and the concept of Menifestation. That's combining men with manifesting, a term they coined after realizing how shifting their relationship dynamics impacted not only their partnerships, but their energy, health, and ability to manifest what they actually wanted in life. We talk about how old patterns, especially around control, people-pleasing, or doing everything ourselves, can keep us stuck in survival mode. They share how self-care, receiving support, and reframing respect and polarity in their relationships completely shifted how they showed up and what showed up for them. From redefining what self-care really means to understanding how your nervous system links to your symptoms and your sex drive. We go there. It's a big chat, but a really powerful one if you're wanting to create more space, more clarity, and more connection with yourself and your relationships. Let's dive in. Hillary and Ber, thank you so much for joining us on the What's My Body Telling Me podcast. I wanted to start by asking you, you coined the term manifestation. So it's a combination of men and manifestation. What does that even mean?
Yes. Okay. So and it also has self-love in there. Yeah. So we say men, love, and manifestation. Yeah. But like love's not, you can't actually see it in there. But yeah, it's about self-love. So yeah, go for it. It is. Yeah. So we have been obsessed with manifesting for the past 20 years. Like 20 plus. We were like closet manifestors at our old corporate jobs before we left them to pursue our own businesses. But we were doing stuff before it was mainstream. And so we're always in the, like, we're all of the mindset of like, oh, just try it. Like if this helps us manifest, we're willing and down to do anything. Yeah. And so a couple of years ago, because I've been this is Ber speaking, I have been married for 20 years. Hillary's been married for 15. We were kind of just like, oh, cool. Like our marriages, they're cool. You know, like we didn't have any major problems that we knew of, but we, because we're always looking to manifest. This 2 years ago, one of our girlfriends was like, oh, hey, like Hillary wanted to manifest, she wanted a cervical orgasm because she had heard that if you have one.
Love that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, apparently,
it's a manifestation hack.
Yeah, it's a manifestation hack. Yeah. And most women don't even know. I've come to find out that like your cervix can have an orgasm. I certainly didn't know.
Yes.
But the woman,
you wanted that.
I wanted a cervical orgasm because when you have one, allegedly, well, this is true because I can vouch, I did get one. But it's not easy to do because like the man has to do it. Know what he's doing. And so I was like telling my husband, like, oh my God, like I would love this type of orgasm. And I was like signing him up for, I don't know if kids don't listen to this, right? But I was like signing him up for like
dick camp.
Yeah, dick camp. And
and you still weren't getting it.
Yeah, and I still wasn't getting it.
And for me, I wanted, we had just done a reno on our house. My husband's a builder, and I would love, like, I wanted at the time a house full of new furniture that we had chosen. But my husband kept saying like, oh, look, we've spent a lot of like more than we thought on the reno. Like, you know, we'll get it when we can. And I was like, no, like I want the new furniture. So I kept like trying to like poke him, prod him. Like, I want the new furniture. And so when Hillary came home from the beach, she was like, oh, like, our friend Ellie, she goes, oh, like she recommended this like book to read on relationships. And I go, oh, well, will it get me my furniture? And she's like, yeah, I think it will.
Well, that's what Ellie said.
That's what Ellie said.
This book will get you your orgasm and it'll get Amber.
And we were like, okay,
so we'll do anything.
Yeah.
Like, for manifesting.
Yeah, we'll do anything.
So we read this book and it's kind of like an old school, upon first glance, you're like, oh, this seems like a little bit archaic. It's a bit religious. We tried, like, we were like, but we'll try it. Like, you know, there's a lot of words in there around like respecting your man and And so we're kind of like, okay, this is interesting. But like, again, I want my house full of furniture. Hillary wanted her orgasm. So we're like, cool, we're down to try. So we started.
I love the difference between your manifestations that you want. It's like whatever you want, whether it's a cervical orgasm or furniture, you can have it.
Yeah. And so we were like, okay. So then we just, you know, we become like, we adopt this process and then we're like, you know, within like a week, within a week, I get my furniture.
Yeah. Mine took a little longer, but
it still happened. Yes. And so, and we were like, what is it about this stuff that works? Because I would say like
these ways of being with the men in our lives were seemed on the surface as more traditional, which like us identifying, we are like girl bosses. We've all grown up in like this age where of feminism, where it's like women can do anything and we don't need men. And like,
but we had to reconcile that we were tired.
Yeah. We couldn't deny that we were like exhausted. Right. So, so we started to, and because Hillary and I understand energetics so well, we were like, oh my God, like not only are our husbands super inspired to like take the lead, but also our manifestations are starting to come in so fast.
Like so fast.
Like we're like, what is going on? We're like, what is going on? So we started doing, and so that like, that was just the surface. So we started doing our own independent research of like, okay, like why is it that these more like traditional roles between men and women actually like inspire them to step up, give us what we want, give us with all this like with
so much energy,
yeah, and like clarity around, oh, now that I know that I can like get him to do anything for me, then like how much can I actually put on his plate? He actually loves doing it. And we started researching like, so we came out of this perspective of like, oh, this is more traditional, to like, oh no, this is actually primal. This is actually looking at men and women through a lens of evolutionary psychology and biology. And when you actually do have these more air quotes, like traditional like roles in the relationship, the men are feeling like they are serving this instinctual need to be the provider and the protector. And then as women, we're coming in and doing the nurturing, but not controlling. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Well, yeah. And I will say that in terms of the process, we didn't just automatically get into like, oh my God, this is evolutionary psychology and biology. We first just tried to share with our friends like, hey, try this. Oh my God, it works so well. And they were like, absolutely not. This is patriarchal bullshit. I'm not going to like tell my man I'm sorry and thank him for what he should already be doing.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I'm not going to thank him. And we're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, we were like, oh, you won't say thank you? That's crazy. So then that's where manifestation was born, was because we were like, okay, like once you sort out the piece with your man, like, oh my God, you have so much energy to focus on the things that you really love.
Yeah.
And the we've had so many major insights, but one has been this lens of feminism, right? Like for our generation,
we'll be 42 soon.
Yeah, we'll be 42. Like feminism has been a part of our life since we were born, right? And so, but when you look at it from this evolutionary psychology lens, it's like just in the last, like 70 or 80 years.
Yeah.
And so there's still like human suit, like primal things at play. And what manifestation does is it cherry picks the best parts of feminism. Like, what do we like? Okay, we like that we can do whatever we want. We like that, we have all this choice. We like, that we can like stand up and say what we want to say, but like, we also don't want to do everything because we're tired. I don't want to take out the trash. I don't want to like be the one to, like manage it, like pay all the bills. Like, none of the stuff I don't want, all the stuff I do want. And because we're in this age where we can choose, we're like, cool. So that's what manifestation is. It's a mix of this primal lens of the things we love with like all the magic of the universe.
Yeah.
That's what I love everything about that. One thing that I'm realizing with you guys is that you know what you want, and it's like you know that you can have it and you deserve to have what you want, because that is really a key part of manifestation. Mm-hmm. Manifestation, not necessarily the manifestation part. So what, because I deal a lot with a lot of women in my life, both professionally and personally, and also I myself am a woman. So what happens if you feel like you are someone that doesn't know what they want or doesn't believe that they deserve what they want?
Oh, this is so interesting. We love it so much. So one of the key pillars of the manifestation process is that self-belief shapes everything. And so in terms of like, you're absolutely right, Anthea, that like, if you don't have the energy to understand what you even want, then how do you like manifest in an intentional way? How do you create things in your life and go after them? So knowing what you want is key. And then like having that belief of like, God, do I actually deserve this? And like, can I actually, for us, I know with our husbands, for example, it was like, man, like, can I actually like put more on his plate that I don't want to do? And so you do really have to reconcile. Like, that's why there's two parts to it with the evolutionary psychology, that like men do have this ability to take on so much more than we do. And as long as we're thanking them, then they will love that. But in terms of in terms of like figuring out what you want, you have to get really savage with your energy.
We say like we're like energy queens because we'll be like, if something doesn't serve our energy, like one day
we'll talk about with our socials.
Yeah, with our socials. So when we decided that we were going to go all in on manifestation, we were like, all right, well, I'm Hillary. I have 2 kids and a husband and all these other things going on. And my energy, and like I was doing the radio then, and I was like, okay, I have all these like passion projects, but I also have an obligation to my family.
Yeah.
So I had to start saying no to a lot. And I stepped back and I evaluated my life, and I'm like, okay, like if Amber and I want to go all on manifestation because this shit works, we need to share it with the whole world.
Then
it's
our life passion.
And it's our, clearly.
But we know that you have to have the energy to create.
Yes.
You can't create from a empty tank.
Yeah. We always say that, like, imagine that every day you have like a full battery cell. Like, you charge your cell phone or your mobile phone. And if you know that you only have a finite amount of energy to create, you have to get savage about what you cut off. So basically I looked around and I was like, okay, like what do I need to cut off? So the easiest things for me were,
Telegram chat.
Yeah. I deleted Telegram. So there were no more group chats because it's easy to get sucked into group chats and that takes your energy. I changed my phone number. Basically,
that's extreme.
Yeah, it is extreme, but I did it. But because people would always like message and just be like,
can you do this? Can you do that?
Can you help with this? Like, oh, like I have this friend who wants to come on the radio. Can you can I introduce you to them? And it's like,
no, you deleted your private Instagram?
Yes, I also deleted my private Instagram because I realized that there were all these ways that people could reach me that I didn't have control over. And because like there is still this in a lot of women, I'm sure your listeners can resonate, that like we have this like people pleasers, some of us that like we don't want to let other people down.
Or like have them think that we're bitches.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, if I actually like cut off all the access to me and I changed my number,
but it actually was fun.
Well, it was fun. Yeah. And people couldn't find me. So it was
I
great.
wouldn't say it was fun. It was more like liberating.
Yes. It was I'm glad it was like it was my experience.
Well, because like I didn't have to cut off anything because I have a lot of free time.
Because you don't have kids.
Yeah. So if someone is listening to this and they're feeling fatigued, exhausted, is that a pretty clear telltale sign that obviously I look at the medical, the functional, the energetic causes of fatigue. There's many different causes. But from that energetics perspective, if someone's feeling fatigued, it's often a sign that they're doing too much that they don't want to do.
Totally.
Yeah, like and we've seen this proven with so many of our clients that it's about prioritizing what's most important to you, because we're in this day of like everybody has a side hustle and we can girl boss, but it's like, hey, if there's something that you really want to create, and it could just be you want to create better health, like the things that you're talking about, Anthea. It's like, well, where are you giving your life force away to other people and not putting yourself first? So
yes,
is there a way that people might be able to detect that?
Well, so in terms of first you have to do what we have this exercise around calling back your energy. And the first part of that is over a 3-day period, make a list of literally everything you're giving attention to. So in the morning, is that like a Telegram chat that pings you? Is it do you have your
socials?
Yeah. Do you have notifications on for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and write down everything that you give your attention to? Is it girlfriends that call you for advice all the time? Is it your kids, like it's literally anything. So do like a 3-day evaluation where you write down everything that you do. At the end of that 3 days, start being like, what's actually serving me here? And like, is this because like, there's this idea, because we talked about in like when we wanted to go all in on twin transmissions, we knew what our goal was. And so it was like, okay, our goal is to monetize our dream and to build an actual business with manifestation and not just have it be a passion project. So we knew what our intention was. And so that Hillary could evaluate what activity she was doing. And it's like, does this activity help equal me to get to this goal? Right? Mm-hmm. Like talking to my best friends in Telegram every day for 2 hours or whatever, like help me get to that goal. No, it doesn't. Cool. I'm deleting the app for now.
Yeah. So for the listener or for the viewer, they could do that exercise and then think about what their goal is, whether their goal is like we were talking about, it was health, or they want to build something, or they want to call in love, whatever it is. It's like, what activities am I giving my time to and energy that don't serve my end goal?
and then just savage. Yeah. And it's actually really fun. Then you start to like set up all these boundaries without like being like, I'm putting up boundaries. Yeah. You just go ghost. Yeah. Like don't, because I remember with Hillary's Instagram, I was like, don't like post on there like, hey guys, I'm getting off for now because PS no one cares. Yeah. And so you just like deleted it. But the interesting thing was that happened was that when you started with that exercise and you cut off all that stuff, we had 250 Instagram followers. And within like a few week period, we had over 20,000. And
wow. Manifestation.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I will say too, for the other part of your question, you're like, okay, if people are just like feeling overwhelmed too, there is an element of you call your energy back, but also focus on doing things that you love. Yeah. So self-care is at the forefront of our process. Yeah. Because if you cater to your energy first, then you're more likely to be able to like help serve other people. Mm-hmm. But for people who are dealing with like chronic health issues and things like that, is that your audience?
Yeah, chronic health issues, or they just are exhausted. And what I say is when you have a chronic health condition, it's because we haven't been doing the things that we love and that are lighting us up and that are filling us up with energy from an energetics perspective, that then when our energetics are off, then our functional health starts to get off. And it's like, well, I've got all these different things, like I'm losing my hair, I'm not sleeping well, I'm starting to get acne, I've got all these bowel stuff, but I go to the doctor and they say there's nothing wrong, but I feel like there's something wrong. My body's just getting louder and louder. And then all of a sudden, we go and we hit these medical markers to be like, okay, now you've got this diagnosis. But our body as a tool, we can use it to be like, oh, you've actually been out of alignment energetically for this amount of time. So it's really cool to be able to piece everything together and go, okay, this is probably where I'm at.
Oh my God. Chills. Yeah. We need chills a lot. Yeah.
So really simple question. It's actually a question my younger sister asked me the other day. She was talking about, she's just finished university and she's moving overseas, or she wants to, and she's like, one of my friends, like everything's just fallen into place for her, like it just seems like she can just freaking manifest easily and I just can't. And I'm like, my younger sister is amazing, like she's so bubbly, everyone loves her, like she's just lit up with energy. And I'm like, that's interesting, because I would think you can manifest easily, but she's just like, I'm just not a manifester. I can't. I'm just not someone who can. And all of these other people can. So she was feeling a little bit low at the time. But what would you say to that when people are like, I can't manifest? Everyone else around me gets what they want.
We have so much. Yeah. So, do you want to take this one? Well, so the first part is that everyone is always manifesting at all times. Manifesting is like breathing, right? You are doing it no matter what. But if you get intentional around how you create, how you harness your energy, that's when you can manifest in specific ways to get specific results. Just like if you do a breath work class, right? Like you use something that you're doing all the time, but in a very intentional way to get a specific result, right? To either calm yourself down or like, I don't know, get like a buzz. Like people use breath work for so much stuff, right? Yeah. So, I would say, so that's the first
she is
piece.
a manifester because
everybody is a manifester. Yeah. And I think people like it can be like a habit people can fall into to not understand that we are creating, like everyone is creating their own reality at all times. Like you are the creator. Nothing is happening outside of you ever. We are never victims of any circumstance at all. We have the power, which is why the self-care, because people be like, like we say, it's like one of our number one tool, right? Our 3-a-day rule, where it's, you do at least 3 things per day that feel good in the moment. It's not to feel the relief after. It has to feel good in the moment. So for the moms that are like, the kids' clothes, I folded them all up and I put them away. I did self-care. No, that's not it. Yeah. Unless you're like you love organization.
Yeah. You're like a Virgo.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's like, I like the woman who like goes to the gym and does like CrossFit,
Yeah.
And like if she doesn't
and she's
love
like,
it,
that's my self-care. It's only self-care if you love it while you're doing it, not after.
It's not relief after.
Yeah. I love that distinction that you guys have made, because I say that now to a lot of my patients that I work with. It's like, oh, I just love a clean house. I'm like, do you love it when you walk in and it's clean? They're like, yeah. I'm like, but would you prefer that someone else cleaned it? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, there you go. You just love a clean house. You don't actually like cleaning it.
100%.
Spot on.
And what self-care does, it does a couple of things. So you were talking about like women that actually don't even know what they want, right? Because it's like, if you want to be intentionally creating, then you first have to know what you want. And self-care is such an amazing, like accessible way to do that, because when you start looking at self-care through the lens of this has to give me joy in the moment, you start to be very intentional about the things that you do in your day, because you're like, okay, if I'm going to stick to this 3-day rule, like I need to figure out what I like doing. And so like, it's like, okay. And it's going to be different for everyone. So you start saying like, I'm going to figure out what I like doing. I'm going to prioritize that, which is also rewiring your brain for like deservedness and worthiness, because you're figuring out what you like doing, and then you're actually taking action on it, which builds confidence. I mean, like self-care, like there's so much layers there, but also from the self-care lens is it raises your frequency. And so when we talk about manifesting and like having it be easy, because if you, without prioritizing self-care every day, everyone's still going to manifest. You're still going to create, but we liken it to like, if you aren't being intentional about your energy and your frequency, then yeah, you can still manifest if you're like anxious, or if you're depressed, or if you're sad, but it's like walking through mud. And so you like, can create, trying to get like your manifestations to come to you when you're walking through mud. It's like everything is like, it's trying to reach you. Yeah. But you're like, oh, it's like, there's so much resistance.
So the first step you would say is like trying to raise your frequency by doing the things that light you up, that actually work for you, not then working against you because you're doing them to try and get something, but really it's not in alignment with what lights you up.
Exactly. Yeah, and it can be really easy. Like for me, like when my self-care is, it's like I eat a piece of chocolate and then I'm just like, oh my God. So, or like in the morning, I love my coconut drink with coffee. And so, and so it's like, it's so different for everyone, but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Like funny reels. Yeah. That used to be one of my favorite self-cares. Which you like watches Real Housewives of whatever city in the world, because like you'll watch it for like hours and you're like, this is my self-care. Yeah. Normally we say to our clients that it's something that you call like your guilty pleasure is like that, like can also help guide you to something that feels like self-care to you. Yeah.
I think that's a really great point on that, like say watching a TV show or something. Yesterday, after a busy day at work, I sat down and one of my new favorite shows, it's being unfortunately drip fed, which is annoying when we love to binge. But the new episode came out and I'm like, I'm just going to leave my phone in the kitchen, not next to me, and I'm just going to watch it. And I was in hysterics. I was laughing. It was amazing. I'm like, this actually feels like self-care, as opposed to I would sometimes do the same thing, same action, but my thoughts about it would be different. It'd be like, oh, you're lazy. You should be doing these things. There's all these other bits of work that you need to get done. Maybe go for a walk instead. Why are you sitting inside watching the all of the things? So it's still the same action. And I know I get joy from it, but sometimes it's like that guilty pleasure. We feel more guilt versus pleasure from it.
Yeah, you were spot on. We were just talking about this the other day. Amber had some cookies the other night, and we're like in our like hot girl walks and like working out phase, and she's like, me in the past would have felt really guilty while I was eating these cookies, but yeah, like, oh, this is going to take me off my plan for the next 3 days. Yeah, like I'm going to feel bloated, blah blah blah. But what you intentionally did was you had the cookies and you're like, oh my God, I raised my frequency. Yeah, you raised your vibe first. Yeah. And thought those thoughts, like what you're saying, Anthea, of like, oh my God, this is going to taste so good. This feels great. Like, and you said when you woke up, you weren't like puffy. Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah. I mean, that actually physiologically, so we know placebo effect, that's like the power of the mind. It's sort of manifesting in a different context, right? So there's actually a study, I put it in my book, it's called the milkshake study. And they gave 2 groups of people the same milkshake, same strawberry milkshake. They told one of the groups that it was like this bad, fatty milkshake full of sugar from McDonald's. They told the other ones it was like this really healthy, protein-filled milkshake. Both the same milkshake. They drank it, then they assessed their blood levels of what happened with their blood sugars and things. The people that thought it was a better milkshake for them didn't get as much of a peak, and they didn't respond as much as the other people did to the ones that thought, oh my gosh, this is a really bad thing for me and I'm drinking it. So it just goes to show that puffiness or the decrease in puffiness actually probably wasn't in your head, or it was just in a better way.
I love it. I'm going to try this later. I'm like, where can we go for lunch?
Obviously, you can't just go, I'm just going to eat chocolate all day. And it's amazing for me. Like we have to look at the functional side of things as well. But the mind is so powerful.
The mind is so powerful. Yes. Yeah. In terms of the energy and the frequency, like in addition to being manifestation, like just loving it. Manifestation is our thing, clearly. We also love quantum physics, which is like the study of energy. And, and quantum physics says we're all just energy vibrating at different frequencies, and that like attracts like. So when we talk about shifting your energy and getting into these frequencies where your solutions live, where, you know, that we're getting the frequency of like joy and love and gratitude, which is like the place that you get in when you move your body or you do self-care, then it's not just like this woo thing anymore. It's like quantum physics backs up all of this energy talk. And so I find that when we were studying quantum physics, like really going into it, it was a really great data point, because in today's world, people love science. And like sometimes all of these things, even though we can see the magic of manifestation and we love that too, it's like in today's world, people want to see more like proof, you know, I do like air quotes, but like it is proof that like, you know, that there is more to this experience, and that there is more to, like, we can intentionally attract the things that we want through our own energy. And so it's just like another PSA for self-care. Yes. And like it's the easiest way to change your frequency, to get into the vibration where all of your solutions live.
And to change your life. Because I would say, I mean, I think everyone can resonate with that experience where you're like waiting for an email to come through. You're like waiting for like an answer on something.
Oh, a man to text you back.
A man to text you back. And then you go to a yoga class that you love, right? You put your phone down and then you come out and then you have the message or you have the email. And you're not going to get that through like staring at your phone and being like, why hasn't he messaged me, right?
Yeah. I literally had this exact scenario just happen to me about 10 minutes before we jumped on this recording. It was an email from these people that I want to do a speaking tour with overseas. And they just said, yes, locked in. And I was like, oh, great. So it's like, it's, but I was thinking, oh, I don't know, what's it going to happen? And like thinking about it. And then I just completely forgot. And then they sent me an email. I'm like, there you go.
It's the release. Yeah. It's like all the things. Well, and we will say like a little hack for your any of the women listening that are dating, or anyone that's dating, or you're just sending like an important message, because we all are just energy vibrating at different frequencies. The energy of like the messages that you send to people, especially men, they can feel. And so we always say, it's like our clients that are dating, we're like, all right, before you send a message, go do self-care, raise your vibe, so that the energy that because you know, like women, we can think like, oh, we're just going to send this little text.
Yeah.
Like,
to try to like manipulate the situation.
To try to send a little thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And because we're just energy, like remember, like science works for us. Sometimes it works against us. And this whole like quantum of like energy, make sure that you shift your energy out of any anxious state before you text that man. This like easy breezy, lighthearted text, because he will. And it's interesting because one of two things will happen if you go do your self-care first and you prioritize your energy first. You're either gonna like still send the message and be like, cool, I've sent this, like, and this is a magnetic message, not like manipulatively, controlly, like weird, you know, despo. Or you're gonna come out of the self-care and be like, I don't even need to send the message.
Yeah.
You know, who cares? And that's when he's going to likely message you or not. But either way, if you're a client of ours, you have a roster.
If you've ever found yourself deep in your camera roll screenshots, buried in wellness TikToks, or spiraling through health podcast notes wondering, why do I still feel like this? You're not alone. You've done the research, you've tried the protocols, you've probably got 4 different tabs open right now. But sometimes the answer isn't more information. It's a different relationship with your body. That's why we created the Body-Led Experience, a space to help you pause the noise, connect inward, and learn to actually support your body. You'll get our symptom decoder to help you figure out what your body is trying to say, simple bite-sized tools to support your metabolism, nervous system, nutrients, and blood sugars, and audio-guided practices to help you reconnect without needing to figure it all out first. Plus, it's not just you doing it in a vacuum. This is a living, breathing community of women creating a new kind of health reality. No performance, no perfection, just permission to feel better. If your body's been whispering, enough, this is your sign to listen. Head to femalefundamentals.com.au or hit the link in the show notes. We'll meet you inside. Okay, so you guys are speaking about the people that you work with are women that are looking to find a partner, or they are in relationships. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So if you there's 2 scenarios that I want to go through, because there might be women listening to this that are in the dating game, and for this instance we're just talking about heterosexual. So these tools don't apply. I actually should ask this question. These tools don't apply if you're in a same sex. So if you're a female looking for a female. Do they apply or no?
It's interesting.
So, our experience is the heterosexual experience. However, our older sister is a lesbian and she uses the tools and she's like, these actually, and she's a therapist.
Yeah. These work.
Yeah. She's like, these work. But we would say that like our main client base,
our experience.
And our experience has been that we work, it's a heterosexual experience. So we can't, but we would love to hear from anyone besides our sister.
Yeah, one of my sisters is a bisexual and the other one is a lesbian. So I will give them the tools and say, let me hear back.
Research. Well, and a core part of our process, it's pinging on a primal, you start from decoding men from a primal perspective so that their behavior no longer becomes mysterious. And you're like, oh my God, I know exactly why he pulls away. I know exactly why he's doing this. So
I know why he's love bombing.
I know why he's love bombing me. Like it takes all the mystery out of their behavior because we say so much, men are not mysterious at all. Once you can see them from an evolutionary perspective and how they evolved to have these different traits and respond to us as women, you're like, oh my God, like they're so predictable.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to look away.
Yeah. You have all the power. Like as women, that's like key. I think that like we really do forget that even though we're in this age of women can and do and be everything. And we don't actually really need anyone, including men, to like live our best life. We have this feminine influence that has actually evolved over millions of years. So if you think so humans have been in existence for like 6 or 7 million years, right? And our role in the tribe was to foster cooperation while the men were out protecting and hunting and making sure the tribe didn't get killed, right? So as women, we had to be able to make sure that the tribe cooperated, because if they didn't cooperate, then it diminished our chances for survival. So when women, it's interesting because with feminism, we've stepped into this new power of like, we can do it all. But then also we find that so many women, before this, we didn't understand that we actually have all the power and we hold the influence to set the tone in our relationships with men. But we do that through influence, not through control. So there's a whole dynamic to that. Yeah, there's nuance. But starting that point, it's like women, we have to realize that we do have a superpower of influence that has evolved over millions of years. And so, but we have to wield it in a way that preserves our energy and actually inspires the men in our life versus emasculating them
and repelling them.
Yeah.
I like how you said there, conserve our energy, because I'm already hearing a lot of people that are in my life and what I can see in context in relationships where a lot of women might be like, well, why is it my job again to have to inspire him? Like, why can't he just do the things? Why do I have to ask him? And then when he does it and I'm like, of course you've done it. And then I have to say, thank you. It's like, just do it. Why do I have to have all the mental load? So if you were dealing with someone like this who may be in a long-term relationship, maybe they're married, they have kids, and they're like, I have all this mental load and now I have to try and inspire him to lead. Why can't he just lead? That's another thing for me to have to do. What would you say to them?
Well, we get this question, we get this hate every day. No, it's just a lack of understanding of how to
they just don't
motivate
know
them. Yeah. And there are ways that you can do it where, because women, we have so much influence, we set the tone for everything. We set the tone for the household. We set the tone for how we're going to be treated in different relationships. And so,
and men mirror us.
Yes, they mirror us. And so we look at it more like, okay, like not that it's a burden to have to be the one to start first, but like, wow, like think of all the power that we have, that we can shift this dynamic through some very easy things, but we have to be the one to start. And so it starts with so for this woman you're talking about, like my mental load is like so heavy. That's how I felt when we first started using these different techniques on our husband.
This is Hillary speaking that has children.
Yeah. So, and I have a husband who is like so helpful in so many ways. We were just saying he's like the nicest man on the planet. He's amazing. And so, but I was like working a full-time consulting job. I was, I have the 2 kids, working on a podcast, working on the radio, like spreading myself thin on my own. Like it was, I put myself in that situation, and I didn't know how to ask for help because I thought that my way was better. I thought that it was more efficient before Amber and I started like diving into all these different primal
pinging things with men, we were like, oh, like we're actually smarter than men. That's what we thought before that. Yeah. Like, you know, the big loves, you know, like, yeah, like, oh, like women, like we're great, men are great, but like we're smarter than them.
Yeah.
No,
it's really interesting because there's a context there as well. A lot of my friends are single as well, and they'll be like, oh, why can't we just find a guy that's like you but in a guy's body? Like a lot of us are like, oh, you're perfect, but like I'm attracted to men, not women. Because you go for things and you do things, and like I don't have to tell you to do stuff, and you actually are doing that. And there's like this connotation of like men are never going to be as good as us.
That's this is so like
good.
That's
but
when you start to research them from a primal level and start to use techniques that actually work, it's like it's like not knowing that you needed glasses, and then you put a pair of glasses on and you see the world through this new lens, and you're like, oh my God, this is what it's like to see. Oh my God,
with like minimal effort.
With minimal effort. And so what I will say for that woman, because I was that woman, is that first you have to take a step back. Because my husband, he was also saying this morning, he was like, you know, you guys talk about how controlling you were. He's like, you weren't controlling. And I'm like, oh my God, you had no idea. I was like, I was so controlling, but in ways behind the scenes that you never even realize, because a lot of times like in our society, control, what people think of as a controlling woman is like this bitchy woman who's like, do this, do that. And he's like, you weren't like that. But I'm like, oh, behind the scenes I was like, you know, he would say, I want to cook dinner tonight. And I'd be like, here's a list. Make sure you go to the organic store first. Don't get anything with seed oils in it. Remember, like Petal has this allergy for this thing. And it was like, and he was just trying to show up and take things off my plate. But I was controlling how he did it because I thought I did it better.
Yes.
And it wasn't actually then taking it off your plate because you still have to think about it.
100%. And it makes them like lose confidence in their ability to lead without any of your guidance. Because I know my husband is very like stereotypical alpha, like very like, ooh, you know, and so he's really good about taking a lot on. But my mistake, like the thing that I've changed the most in my marriage is that I used to think that I had to match his effort. So like he'd get up in the morning and start like raking the leaves or something outside. And I'd be like, fuck, I guess this means I have to go clean the pool, you know?
Yeah, or like bring a trash bag out to
bring a trash, and I'd be like, ugh. And so it would make me really annoyed because I was like, I have to do, like, why do I have to match it? Because men, like, I think most women in our relationships with men, they putter a lot, right? Like they tinker, they're like outside doing stuff, like they're taking care of the property or wherever they live. And for me specifically, I was like, oh my God, like he's like out in the garage right now, reorganizing his tools. I guess that means I have to go clean the bathrooms, you know? But what I realized through this primal lens is that men actually don't need you or want you to match their contribution and like their effort in that way, because they have the capacity for so much. But what they do need to keep inspiring them is gratitude. And this sounds
respect.
Respect is the most important thing to a man. I had no idea that like how much I was.
You were disrespectful AF.
Well, yeah. And I know that like disrespect and respect can be kind of a triggering word for some people, because for women, because we can identify that word as like respecting our men with being like subservient. And that's so not what it is. But from this primal lens, men, respect is the most important thing to them. And the way the way you can disrespect them without even knowing. So another example with me and my husband, for like, we've been married for almost 17 years now. And so this was around the 15-year mark when we started doing all this. And we used to bicker every day, like almost every day. Well, no, every day.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're just a couple that bicker.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds horrible. Well, I was like, that's just our vibe, you know, like we're just the couple, like he'll do like, well, I used to think he'd do something and then I'd react. But like what I realize now, the biggest ways I was disrespecting my husband was I would interrupt him a lot. I would take over his stories. I would correct him.
You'd make jokes at his expense.
And like hearing myself now, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cringe. I can't believe I did it. But with women, we can do that with each other, right? Because again, looking at it from this primal perspective, women in conversation, we talk over each other. That shows that we're engaged.
Yeah, how we connect.
Yeah, exactly. Hello.
Yeah.
Right? So this just goes to show that with women, that shows that we're engaged. But we do have to understand as women that we can't interact with our men like women and then expect them to act like men. Like, you know, it's like the clients we have or women that DM us, they're like, I just want him to like act like a man. Then it's like, well, why are you treating him like a woman then? Right? Like you're treating him like one of your girlfriends, but you're not actually giving him So when I stopped interrupting my husband, when I stopped
just being disrespectful, and when you started to acknowledge what, like, everything he did doing,
like little, even if it's like, hey, he picked up a ball of fluff off the floor, thank you for doing that, took out the trash. Because we hear a lot from women, especially women with kids, that they're like, why should I thank him for the things, like, why should I thank him for watching the kids,
for things he should already be doing?
Yeah, like, he doesn't thank me. But what you'll realize is when you make gratitude the foundation, one of the foundations of your relationship with men, it, like, it doesn't matter if you're dating or not, or married, then they will mirror you. And so my husband now says thank you to me for everything.
Yeah. Like, because you say thank you for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you get back to the quantum manifestation thing, everyone in our reality is just a mirror for us.
Yeah.
So
of course that they're mirroring you, because they, I mean, we don't need to get too far, but like, they are you.
Yeah, I know. It's like layer. So if you're a woman that's in a relationship and you're saying two of the core pillars are gratitude and respect for your partner, what happens if you're like, okay, I want to encourage him, lead him, have gratitude, but what happens if you're like, I just, like, you feel like you don't have the respect, and it's like, it feels fake to be doing that?
Well, we'd probably ask you two questions. Like, one, what was he like when you guys first got together? And because there had to have been something there for you to actually marry him and have kids with them. So maybe you don't respect him now, but like, what was the version of him that actually made you commit to him? Because that version of him is still there. Yeah. And in our experience, we are the ones as women that have like emasculated that out of him, or like,
turned him in the version that we don't want. Through disrespect and
lack of acknowledgement of what he does, trying to control him, etc., all these things. So we would say, like, who's the man you met and like actually wanted to marry? Because that version of him has not gone away. He just needs to be re-inspired, and you need to take a step back to actually let him be that person that he was when you guys first got together.
Yeah. And the second one is, if they say, well, he's always been this way, then we're like, well,
why'd you marry him?
Yeah, why'd you marry him, or why are you with him? And then that comes into like the self-respect piece. And building confidence and focusing on the self-care and things that bring you joy, so that you can take a step back and from a centered place really understand, like, is this the man that I want to be with or not? So it's like strengthening what you already have, or it's having the confidence to walk away. And that goes with dating too, because we talk about like even from like a neuroscience perspective, like the science behind habits, and when women choose the same man over and over again, like it is, or they take the same man back over and over again. It's like,
or we accept the same behavior in the relationship. So like, what are our patterns around like accepting subpar treatment?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because we can see that a lot with our clients. If they're with someone who, we'll ask them, what has been your experience with men in the past? What did you see growing up? And all of those things have an influence on where you are in your life now. But the really cool thing is that you have all the power. You have all the power to change, and confidence can be cultivated.
100%.
Like, people think like you're just born with confidence or you're not. No, we haven't always been confident. Oh my God, we had a horrible bully in 8th grade.
Yes, we did.
Who's now in federal prison. So karma. It's but so like, we actually had to intentionally build it because we were bullied so bad by this man, or he was a boy. Yeah. And so so for your listeners, it's like, some of the ways that you can build confidence is by doing things that scare you, making commitments to yourself and keeping them. So this is a great time. I don't know when this episode will be released, but if it's in the new year, then it's like, oh my God, like New Year's resolutions. What are some that you can do that you can actually keep? And that when you keep them at the end of the year, you're like, oh my God, I'm a total badass, because I like actually stuck to this thing. You know, I didn't touch dairy or gluten for the whole year. Like, I didn't drink for the whole year, or even setting micro goals. It could be something small.
Are you okay if we keep going on this? Because we both have interesting examples about like intentional ways that we cultivated confidence around things that you wouldn't actually think.
Yeah, I love, let's stay on this, and then I want to talk about the people that might be in the dating scene.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So with the confidence, well, do you want to start with your sports bra story?
Oh yeah. My sports bra story. Yeah. So part of this like whole manifesting thing too is that I understand innately that in order to become the person that you want to be, you have to start embodying her now. And so I had a couple kids, I had breast implants, I got them taken out. And so, you know, like, pregnancy changes your body, right? But we live in Byron Bay, like the Mecca of health
for Australia.
Yeah. There's like legit supermodels that are just walking down the street every day.
Yeah. Like in crop tops and shorts, and it's hot. Like the summer here is hot. And so I'm like, okay, like putting intention into my body. And I was like, okay, what are like, I didn't want to like put this pressure on myself to like, I need to lose 40 pounds or like 18 kilos. Like I have to get to the weight that I was before I had my kids. I'm like, what does the version of me that is like confident, like what is she doing? What does she wear when she works out? And I was like, oh, she definitely wears a sports bra and shorts. And I was like, oh God. So knowing what I do about manifesting, I'm like, I have to start wearing a sports bra and shorts now. This was probably like maybe 3 years ago. And so I went to the store. I think it was like Cotton On and like Nike. And I got like, you know, a sports bra, like a size 14 that could fit me. And then I got like shorts that would like, you know, go over like my mom pooch, but they were like, they were like flattering enough for what I had that I was like, okay, I'm not going to like, I'm going to be embarrassed to do this, but I'm still going to do it. Hashtag manifesting. Yeah. So I started wearing that outfit. And the craziest thing that happened is that I started not to care. Maybe it took like, I don't know, 3 weeks or so of intentionally wearing the outfit that I know that the version of me, you know, whoever she is.
Yeah. Well, you didn't care. You were like walking around town doing your thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I was just like, this is me. But like, and the thing
it was super inspiring.
It made me. Well, no, it was just like, it felt so freeing.
Yeah.
And that was, and then what I realized is, oh, no one's looking at me. No one actually cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Because everybody.
But you have to sort of do it to prove that actually no one cares.
Exactly. Yeah. And so once I started doing that, I was like, what else can I do? And I'm like, oh, I actually like love being topless, especially since I got my implants out. And here in Byron, it's like okay to be topless at certain beaches. And I was like, oh God, like my husband would be like, really, you're going to not wear your top and the kids are here. And I'm like, yeah, because this is what feels good to me. And like, P.S. you're not real anyways, because like meta stuff about like, you know, he's just a projection of me, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that scared too. Like, oh, we just go down the beach in Belangel, like, you know, where there wasn't anybody. And I'd wear like a high-waisted suit. But then I would just like tan out like under the sun and just be like, I feel so good. I'm raising my frequency.
Yeah.
And then like the next one was like, oh, I'm going to do it. There's more people around. And then I did. And what I noticed, which was cool, is that other women started taking their tops off too. And maybe that's just a Byron thing, but it gave them permission to be themselves.
Yes.
So the cool thing is about when you start to like, kind of like break down these, ideals of like what we think is acceptable or not, then it gives other people the courage to step into what they want to do too.
Yeah. Like you're inspiring someone too. And I know for me specifically, like, this is Ber talking. This is Ber speaking. So like it was maybe a year or two ago. And I wanted to build my confidence about going online because Hillary already had her podcast. She already had her Instagram and she was really just embodying when she was going on in her crop top on her Instagram, like doing her thing. I was like dancing. Well, yeah.
Thing. Yeah. Yes, I was like, oh, my hip hop class. I was like, you know what? Like P.S. I knew that in order to do it, like you have to push through resistance.
Well,
like that's where the gold is.
Yes. And so I was like, you know what? Like, yes, I'm seeing Hillary being confident, but like, I want to feel that confident too. And so the first thing I did was I like had a video that
it was so great. So bad. But it was on manifesting. And so I like did this weird video of me on the beach and it was like, you're like, it was so bad. I had since been deleted, but so I recorded it. And then right before I pressed post, I started crying because like, again, it's that resistance because it's like, but for me to be confident, like I have to take this action. And so I pressed post and then I was like, oh, that actually wasn't that bad. I mean, look where we are now. Like we post all the time on Instagram about very personal things.
Yeah. The second thing is that I had a desire for, I like to be like, to have this like fit body. Right. And so I got like this program. But then before I even went into the gym, I like called my mom and I was just like crying and I was just like, oh my God, like people are going to judge me. Like, you know, like I'm not going to know what I'm doing in there. And this is probably 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know I have to do it because like the version of me that like works
that
out, like that has to go into the gym. And so then like I went in and
in a crop top.
No, I didn't. Not the first time. No. So in the first time I didn't, but even sometimes when I was working out, I like cried because I was like, oh my God, like this feels so, it wasn't physically hard, but it's like, you really are like retraining your brain and like stepping outside of your comfort zone. So I did that. And then by the end of, I think I did like this 4-month program with this woman. And then I was like in my crop top, not giving a shit, you know? And so I was like,
cool, I can do that. But then I also had, so basically for us, like if there's resistance towards something, we're like, okay, we have to go through it. Like
this is where the gold is. And that's for the listener. It's like how you cultivate confidence intentionally.
Particularly if the resistance is like, you actually want to overcome it. It's not like there's resistance and you're like, I'm resisting that because it's not for me.
100%.
It's a different type of resistance. Yeah.
Yeah,
I really like that.
If this version of me wants to be fit, then like I probably have to go to the gym to do that. So like I need to go to the gym. So, you know.
Well, you're challenging the stories that we create about ourselves. It's like, oh, I can't go to the gym because I'm not fit. It's like, well, how are you going to get fit?
Yeah, 100%. And we would say too that we start small, like when we were putting more of a focus on our health. It wasn't like we're like, what's like one thing that we could do today that would raise our vibe and also make it feel like we were taking a step closer to like fitness. So that's just like, okay, like I'm going to buy a cute workout outfit and then I'm just going to like go for a walk or like give yourself a reward at the end of it. So I would do this thing where I was like, okay, if I do a lighthouse walk, then at the end of it, like I can get like this coffee that I love from like the little coffee cart guy. So that does speak to like the science of habits, right? It's like this cue with like what you're doing and then you get like a reward, right? And so for the listener who's like, you know, like I want to get fit, but like I just don't know where to start. Just start with like buying a pair of like shoes that you really like.
Yeah.
And then lace them up and say, okay, like I'm going to go walk to try this like burger place that I've been wanting to try. You know, like you don't have to start with the diet and all of that right away. It's just like cue up rewards to start to get you into new habits. That's been really helpful for us.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Let's take a body break. Think of one thing you've been holding on to tightly. An idea, a to-do list, an expectation, and just let it go for now. Unclench your jaw, wiggle your fingers, soften your stomach. You're allowed to feel safe right now. Let this be enough. So now if we touch on the woman that is like, okay, there's no good men out there. I don't know what's happening. They're not as good as me. They're not as driven. They're not as smart. They're not as funny. They're not as whatever the story is. There's just no one out there for me. What would you say to them?
Oh my God. So like, well, the first and simplest thing is like, what are the stories that you're telling yourself? Because literally from a manifestation point of view, the stories that you tell every day about you and your life and what's possible are either keeping you stuck or they're catapulting you into this new reality. And that, I would say that in the last few months, that's been for us, like the biggest change around shifting, like having our reality change at such a, like almost like a neck breaking pace is because we realized, if you think like, again, like to the people that, you know, the women who, you know, like someone will ask them about like, so how's it going in dating? Oh, well, like there's no good men out here. And like, they're all a little stupid. And like, why I want to find someone like me. And as you do that, if you think about this from a manifestation point of view, is that story even serving you? And so one of the first things that we do with our clients is what we know, we do like this 2-hour consult with them where they tell us like everything and it becomes very apparent what their story is. And so we're like, okay, well, yeah, we heard you say that like, all men are low effort and like, they just want to hook up.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm still single and I don't know when I'm ever going to meet a man and it's too hard. And these dating apps are crazy. And it's like, whoa.
Well, and especially here, a story we hear a lot is that
in Byron is that like men have the Peter Pan syndrome because there's too much choice of beautiful women. And so they don't have to commit, but we're like, oh my God, we meet so many men that actually commit.
Yes.
But again, like that story, like there's an evolutionary reason why we bond over stories and being negative, which is why the news is so negative, right? Because it's what we pay attention to for survival. So like, as like we were evolving, we needed to pay attention to the negativity to pick up things that we could use to ensure the survival of the tribe. So it is true that you can get people's interest more by spinning the negative because people will pay attention to that. But if you look at it from the quantum energetic perspective, when you keep saying that same story, that's a shitty story, that's a disempowering story, it's draining and you're perpetuating that. So the first thing we would say is like, look at your stories and how can you evolve them? So like maybe perhaps like for a client we have, her story used to be that people would ask her like, so are you still single? And she'd be like, yes, I'm still single. And I don't know when I'm ever going to meet anyone again. And we're like, okay, well, let's just change that. We call this an elevator pitch. So like, think of like 1 to 2 sentences, something that you can actually picture yourself saying
when people ask you.
When people ask you, that's empowering. So for her elevator pitch evolved into something like, I'm prioritizing myself. Like I noticed that the more I pour into myself, like the more excited I get about, like the man that's going to come in my life. Yeah. Something, so it's different for everyone, but it's about like what can actually be true for you. That's a more expansive story, because what you're going to find is that when you change your story, your reality has no choice but to start changing. So new, like serendipities will start coming in. And, and also when your story is that all men are low effort, like is it the reticular activating system? Yeah. Is that like your reality? It's like when you think like, oh, I'm going to buy a Range Rover, and then you start seeing Range Rovers everywhere. Yeah. It's the same thing with men. If you're always saying that men are low effort and, and that's your belief. Yes. Like then your reality mirrors that belief. Well, and your reticular activating system looks for things to confirm that belief. Yeah. So it's like, if you can actually be conscious about it. And so another exercise that we have people do is, let's say you're like, okay, all men are low effort. All right, well, is that actually true? What we want you to do is think of 5 examples of like friends you have that have maybe met someone that shows men are low effort. Or that they're not low effort. Yeah, sorry. So you start to, you intentionally go out and find 5 examples that contradict this belief that you have, so that you start to rewire your neural pathways, and then you start to change the shift of your reticular activating system, right? Yeah. And that mixed with changing your story is like gold. And the whole point of manifestation too, we call it soft girl manifesting, because we've tried everything, right? We've done all the crazy like rituals and writing down lists at 4 a.m. and and burning a list, and then mirror work and like inner child stuff, which we're not saying you shouldn't do the deeper stuff to like heal your stuff. Yeah. We're just saying that we've tried everything, and like this is the stuff that we know that works, but also preserves your energy. It's basically like just putting a fresh lens on things you already do every day. Because how often do people ask you, what's up with your job? Oh, how's the dating scene out there? Yeah. Oh, like, are you and your husband still fighting? Blah, blah, blah. Like, are your kids still like super gnarly? Because you can even do it with your kids. You can do it with anything. Yeah. And so if you just change your story and then also intentionally rewire your brain around what your belief is, and is that actually true? Then it's like, oh my God, you call back so much energy, and things just start to shift, and you're like, whoa, I didn't have to like go do ayahuasca in the desert. Like that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. You can if you'd like. Yeah. I really like how you said those 2 parts there, where you change your story, but you also challenge the old story, because the old story created your beliefs. Because that's where people are like, oh, okay, I'm going to change my story. It's like, oh, I can easily get a 6-pack. I can easily get a 6-pack. I can easily get a 6-pack, for instance. And it's like, yeah, well, are you actually believing that? Yeah. You have to be able to believe. Otherwise, you're just like, I'm just saying all these things and there's nothing behind it.
Exactly. Yeah, because we've done all the like mantras of like, I am beautiful, I am fit. Yeah, I am fit. Yeah, like all the things. And it's like, it doesn't have the same power of actually, the woman who is where you are now, and she has a 6-pack. It's why like when you see a woman online that has your story, that has what you want, you resonate so deeply, because you're like, if she could do it, I can do it. Yeah. So you want a 6-pack, but you don't have one now. You need to find the woman anywhere in your reality that got a 6-pack that you can actually identify with. That's really powerful. And then, and same thing in dating too. Like if there's a woman that had a similar situation to yours, but then found love, and you can find them on TikTok. Like, they're so, we do. Yeah. But you can find, it doesn't have to be someone in your social circle, but it's like the way to change your life is to consciously and intentionally go out. And like you said, Anthea, challenge your beliefs and change your perspective, because changing your life takes intention. Mm-hmm. It does. It takes like being an observer of like, how am I actually keeping myself stuck? Especially with like the elevator pitch stories, right? Like once you actually start to like understand, like, oh my God, every time someone asks me about my relationship, I keep saying my husband's a dick, or like, someone keeps asking me about my weight loss journey, I keep saying, I love food so much, right? Like this is so hard. Like in your 40s, losing weight is so hard. But like is that story actually serving you? So you start to realize like, whoa, I've just been running on autopilot through my life. And it's just like, I've been on like, Joe Dispenza says like breaking the habit of being yourself, right? But it really is like this version of yourself that you're experiencing today is just, it's a habit. So you just have to break that habit.
It's almost like, as we're saying, stories. It's like we're reading our book, and our book is our reality. That's our manifestation, that we've been manifesting our reality.
Yes.
And we just think that's the story. Like we're stuck reading Harry Potter, for instance. And if there's Harry Potter fans, they might be like, amazing, I'm manifesting my dream reality, right? But you might be stuck reading, I don't know, some kid's book, and you're like, okay, like I don't want to read this anymore. I've been reading from the same book my whole life. I want something different. Yes. It's like we have to start telling yourself and believing in another story. Like pick up a different book in a way.
I love that. Yes. And we would also say like another element, because some women will be like, oh, like, okay, I want to make changes, but I don't know where to start. In addition to self-care, we would say, because you said that on your podcast, you talk about manifesting, like there is this, I feel like this is a safe space for these things, but correct me if I'm wrong, that like there is this element of like the universe has your back. It 100% has your back at all time. And you can ask for help out loud and you'll get it. And whether you believe in God, whether you believe in angels, like loved ones that have crossed over that are supporting you on your journey, you see angel numbers, whatever it is, right? Like there is this magic that's outside of ourselves that is here to help support us on this journey and to help support us in the version of us that we want to be. And so when it feels overwhelming, because what came to my mind was someone who might have a chronic illness, who's like so exhausted and so just like defeated, and they're just like, they've lost hope. Yeah, they've lost hope. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be that you lace up your shoes and you take a walk. It's like, just ask for help out loud. Like one that I love to do, and I always get like the craziest help, and like mostly in form of books, but I'll just say like, I don't know what the next step is, and I would love clarity. Give me breadcrumbs and make it magical, make it fun, make it clear. And literally like things will be like, wah, wah, wah. And they just start changing. But for the person who's feeling like super low down in the dumps, it's like, just ask for help. And I would say it needs to be out loud. Yeah. And it doesn't matter who you think it is that it's helping you. Yeah. Whatever you believe. Whatever you believe, like your cousin that passed away or something. You know what I mean? Like it could just be like, hey, like it doesn't have to be like Archangel Michael, it doesn't have to be like wild, right? Yeah. But what happens is help shows up. Yeah. It shows up, and there's like this whole there's just all this energy that's around you that wants to support you and what you want. Yeah. So, I have one more layer to that too, because we have time. It's all sorry.
We have time. Yeah. Okay. We'll wrap it up.
You were talking earlier about like the mom who takes on too much, right? And has this heavy mental load. Yet, like when Hillary was talking about asking for help, in order to you also have to receive, which is like a huge thing. Like often I know for us, like one of my biggest things, I can only speak for myself, was that like my husband wanted to help me, but I couldn't receive it. And so now it's like, you can actually so let's say this example of a listener who is feeling like low and feeling like they've lost hope. They ask for help. It shows up maybe in the form of like a neighbor that comes over with some food, or like, hey, can I give you a ride to your next appointment? How often when help shows up, do we say, no, that's okay? Or I don't want to inconvenience you, or like, no, that's, but like the power of receiving and actually being like, thank you. Yes, I will receive this help that you're giving. On one level, it rewires your neural pathways of feeling more deserving and feeling like, yes, of course I can receive this. Especially as women, we have this tendency when someone like gives us a compliment, or if someone does something for us, then we immediately have to reciprocate. Or we're like, if I'm like, oh, hey, you have a really cute top on. And then someone will be like, this whole thing? Yeah, this whole thing, I got it, like it has mold in it. I got it from Target. Like I found it in a trash can.
If it has mold on it, please throw it out.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, hi, as a doctor. Well, but like it's like we reject, right? And it's like, or we deflect and reject, when it's like what we should be saying is, someone loves your top, someone thinks your hair looks beautiful, like, thank you. And what you start to realize is that when you truly accept, and this is an easy way to practice it, is that if somebody compliments you, if somebody wants to shout you a coffee, if someone wants to open a door for you,
or let you cross the road. Here in Australia, like pedestrians don't have right of way. If you have American listeners, they're like, what are you talking about? We have the right of way. In Australia, we don't, right? And so if someone lets you cross in front of their car, it's kind of like, they'll be like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. It's like this weird thing, right? But like even something as simple as that
Like, just saying like, oh, thank you. Yeah, it makes you feel good. And it's a habit just like anything else. And from a manifestation point of view, the more you get in the energy of receiving, the more will come to you. And because we've talked about this before, but like so often it's, let's say that you're trying to manifest something, like you have an intention to create a new job or to call in a new relationship, right? But you can't even accept like your next door neighbor coming over and giving you a pie, right? Then it's like, actually, can you actually receive like there, like something bigger that you're calling in and wants to come through for you, but you can't even like accept
the small stuff.
Yeah, the small stuff. So yeah,
receiving is another hack.
100%.
Especially for like tired moms and people who might have like well, it's for anyone,
especially women.
Yes. Yeah. Because also like through this whole feminism lens is that we have been programmed to believe that accepting help makes us weaker. But really like through our deep dive that we've done in all of this evolutionary psychology and biology, we're like, no, actually all of these ways of being that seem more traditional or like can be more self-serving of like, you know, like, what do I want? Like self-care, receiving are actually ways that make you more powerful and more magnetic. And so it's almost like flipping all that rhetoric on its head, that like receiving help makes me more powerful.
Yeah.
And it's back to that sense of community. And I think a lot of people are lacking that sense of community and feeling like you have to do it all. And that's, if we look back at the health trends, the things that were killing us 100 years ago were infections, were things because we had poor sanitation or we didn't have proper safety. It was all acute things. But now more than half of the Australian public or the global public will develop at least one chronic illness. And chronic illnesses take time. So I absolutely love everything you guys do, obviously. And I'm taking a lot of it on myself. But I really love the crossover, because how I think about the body is that whatever our symptoms are, it's just a reflection of whether we've been in alignment of what actually we want or what we don't want. And it's sort of the same thing. Like if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, like your reality in terms of relationships isn't what you want, that's a sign that you're off track. And it's the same with our body. Sometimes it's even funny. One of my sister's friends, actually, she was with her partner all throughout university, and she had all of these different autoimmune conditions, weird stuff. The doctors are like, we don't know what's wrong with you, which is a very, very common thing that a lot of women come to me with, like, oh, I'm a tricky one. No one knows what's wrong with me. But what I encourage women to do is go, okay, well, you already know. I'm not the one that's going to give you the answer. I'm the one that's going to help guide you back to you so you can connect to you, because your body's already telling you something. And for instance, with this, my sister's friend, she broke up with her partner. All of her symptoms went away.
Oh my God, I got chills. I know I got chills too.
So I'm not saying to anyone that's listening to this, if you are struggling with autoimmune things, ditch your partner. But it's all about going, okay, well, your body will manifest certain conditions or symptoms, varying severities, trying to tell you something. But when you can really tune in and have that self-respect, and you can do the self-love, and you can actually work with people in community and go like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired and lit up by life, then you start to make the decisions that are in alignment. And then you have proper boundaries, and then you're doing the things that light you up. You have more energy. You're not exhausted and fatigued. And then that's leading to all of these different health conditions. So it crosses over so brilliantly. And I absolutely love all of the tips you guys have given. It's going to help people in their relationships, but also in their health as well, overall life.
Oh my God. So yeah. And there was one, do we have time for one more story? I'll make it.
Yeah.
So yesterday we had a friend come over, and this is like something that we do. Like if a friend comes over, or even like strangers in the wild, we just can't help ourselves. we're like, give us what is happening right now, because we're going to help fix your life in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy questions, but the really along the lines of health. So she's married, she's got kids, and she's been wanting her husband to step up and to lead. And she was like a dropout of Manifestation. We laugh.
Yeah.
She's like a friend of ours. But she's like, sometimes you just can't take the advice of your friends. And we're like, that's fine. We get it. You've known us since we were young. And so long story short is, she came to us and she's like, oh my God, I had the craziest work trip. I was away, and after sitting in hours and hours of she's a meant to be like a healer. Really, she has an amazing gift for these quantum modalities.
Yeah, different quantum
tools. She comes from a medical background.
anyways, long story short, she ended up taking this other job because she felt like, oh, she needed to help support the family because her husband has like this startup, right? And she was away. She was sitting through hours of boring, like a 96-page PowerPoint presentation to all these men, in something that she didn't want to talk about. And she goes, I actually had an out-of-body experience.
She had vertigo.
And then she got vertigo.
Yeah.
But she was crazy headaches. And she's like, what like, is this? Yeah, there's no reason for me to have this headache. Yeah. And so she goes home and she's just feeling horrible. And she's talking to her man and she's like, I'm getting to my breaking point with this. Like I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And he was like, well, how much do we need to make to cover your, what you're bringing in? And she told him, he said, okay, great. I can do that. Like, I can make that happen. I can make that happen. All of her symptoms went away instantly. And she's like, that was weird. And we were like, no. We're like, well, yeah, what you were saying. We're like, no, and we were like, well, did you thank him and say yes? And she was like, oh no, I'm not sure I did that. And we're like, oh, we're like, it's this whole like gratitude and respect piece too. But it's like, it's one, speaking to what you're saying, Anthea, which is like, all of these, when you're not living in your purpose, when you're not doing the things that you want to do, it manifests in symptoms in your body. And if you don't listen, then it just keeps evolving. It gets worse and worse and worse. But then for the woman who's listening that is feeling this way, but wants her man to take things off their plate, they have to be able to receive the help. Yeah. And then give him acknowledgement, and then he'll take more off your plate. So that's where this whole manifesting thing is. It's like, okay, how do you get your man, for the one who's married, to take things off your plate so you can focus more on your creative endeavors? Mm-hmm. Because women, we're inherent creators, right? Like, we give birth to the world, right? So it's like, we have all these great ideas and we want to act on them. But when you are like, when you have the support of a good man, it's like the world is your oyster, and so that's where all of this, like, that's the kind of like the crescendo of all of the manifestation stuff. It's like, yes, there are these, like, men, number one, are our allies, and yes, there are still some like F-boys out there, but there are really, when you look at men from an evolutionary lens, like, there are ways that you could pick out the ones that are serious and the ones that aren't. When you get out of the habit of being yourself and start to have more confidence, you're not going to accept certain things. And this is all about calling your energy back so that you can create like what is inside of you to create. Because everybody has something different, right? Every woman has something different, but every woman I know is amazing. And they have these little like projects that they want to act on, but they're like, damn it, like, I have a full-time job and I'm doing this thing that I hate. And how am I going to get out of this rat race? And I have this husband that will never support me. And, like what you were saying, like, I'm never going to find a man who will do this or that. But it's like, no, once you understand how to get men to do what you want, how to find the right men, then you have all this extra energy to create like the life of your dreams. And that's our intention.
Sign me up. So if anyone who is listening this is like, how do I do this? How do I work with you guys? How do they?
Yeah, so they can find us. We're on Instagram at Twin Transmissions, and then TikTok at Twin Transmissions. But we have more it's easier to have dialogue with people at Twin Transmissions on Insta. Just send us a DM. We work with people 2-to-1. We do have a mastermind as well, where we do like group coaching calls over a 12-week period where we teach the key pillars of our process. But we do say we're consultants. We're not coaches. Yeah. So like because we had this background in like high level corporate sales for so long, which is where we learned about manifesting. We like to get results. We like solutions. We don't just want to be like rah. Yeah. Like your hype woman. Yeah. We're like, no. Like, we are your hype women, but we're also like, what's your problem? And like, this is how you fix it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you have to be the one to actually do it. We can give you the advice, but you actually have to do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Oh my gosh, so amazing. I just wanted to end on this final question. Hillary, I know, do you have daughters or sons?
Daughters.
Okay. So, Ber, I want you to imagine you also have a little baby girl. Mm-hmm. What would be one belief that both of you individually would want to instill in her about her body and her life that would carry her throughout the rest of her life?
I would say that like you're perfect as you are. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Okay.
Well, you are twins, so we can do the same if you want.
And the thing is like, it's almost like you're perfect as you are. Want. Like, that's what, everybody would want to think. But the thing is that you don't actually, it's taken, I'm just now in my 40s and I'm the most confident I've ever been about myself, my body. And like, God, but in my 20s, like I was banging, you know, I had like a 6-pack, I had my thing going on, but I was so insecure. And so what I would just say, I mean, like you're perfect as you are, but I don't know if and also you're like more powerful than you know. Oh my God. Yes. You're so powerful. Well, and I tell my girls that now. I'm like, oh my God, like you're so powerful. Like you can, well, because they know about like the things that we teach with men. And so I feel like our job is to help them also like rebalance this kind of like this scale that has gotten like totally out of whack with like the harmony between men and women. But I want them to know that they're super powerful, but they also don't have to do it all. So how much time do you have? I know. Well, and also we say like men are our allies. Yeah, because there is this message of like it has to be girl power and like we can be powerful like with the men in the picture too, right? Because we've found like that for us to live like our most empowered life where we're like having the life of our dreams is with the man in our life with his support. And so because they take so much off your plate. Yes. Yeah. That you don't want to do, you know, like I don't want to like take out the trash and like do all the manly things around like the house and fix things, you know? Well, and our husbands are our biggest fans. They're like they're in our videos. Like if anyone's going to our Instagram, like they're like our ride or dies. And that's like, I think for like heterosexual women, that really is the dream. Like most women don't want to be by themselves, right? Like if you're a heterosexual woman, you want to create this life with the man of your dreams. And I would say any woman. Well, yeah, but any woman, well, maybe, depending on it, they want the support of another person. Yeah, life is just sweeter when you have.
Well, we all do. We're not born to be solo people. I know when I used to work as a chiropractor in clinic, and I'd be seeing people all the time, and now I work by myself, largely sitting at a computer. It's like it's completely different. Like I need to get out. I need to make sure I'm seeing people and talking to at least one other person throughout the day because we need it. It's one of the most nourishing things from our body is one to connect to ourselves and also to connect to other people. And like you guys mentioned, it's like having that self-respect and also having respect for the other person. We need to be able to have both connection with ourselves and connection with others. So thank you so much for joining us. I definitely think you're probably going to be back on the podcast because we have so much to talk about.
We can talk about this stuff for days. It's literally all we ever talk about. Yeah. Thank you for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'll catch you next time.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
If this episode resonated and you feel like you're stuck in the space between symptoms and solutions, you're not alone. I've been there too, and that's why I created all of this. From the book, if you're just starting to listen, or the test if you want clarity your bloods couldn't give you, or the body-led experience if you've tried doing it all and still feel flat. Well, sometimes you need something specific, like one of our symptom series for a deep dive support on topics like fatigue and menopause. So wherever you start, just know your body's already guiding you. Share this with someone who needs it, and don't forget to follow and rate the show. Please remember, this episode is for educational purposes only. Always consult a qualified health practitioner before making any medical decisions. Every body is different, and so is every healing journey.